Social media, I mean, honestly, that's the key, right? So trying to create unique, interesting content, even without a budget, you can do it on your own. You got to try to find something that's unique to you. I think what people fail at from a social media standpoint, anyhow, is like, hey, it's Taco Tuesday. Well, everybody's doing Taco Tuesday. How are you doing it differently, right?
Mm.
It's Burger Wednesday. It's half price wine night. How are you doing it differently, and how are you doing it for your brand messaging?
What's up, Zach Oates here, author, entrepreneur, and customer relationship guru. Welcome to Give an Ovation, growth strategies for restaurants and retailers, where we find industry leaders to share their secrets to grow your business. This podcast is sponsored by Ovation, the actionable guest feedback tool that works on or off premise and is easy, real-time, and actually drives revenue. Learn more at ovationup.com. Welcome to another edition of Give an Ovation. Today I am joined by Jeremy Staub. And Jeremy, thanks so much for being here, man.
Yeah, happy to be here. So
Jeremy is the owner and creative director of Box 8 Creative that does branding, print, website, content, social for brands like Longford's Ice Cream, Hop Culture, Illicit, Garden Catering, and Garden Catering through an extremely roundabout way is how Jeremy and I got introduced. Garden Catering, great brand, run by some great people. Then Stephanie Jarm introduced us, who is phenomenal, who was introduced to me by Chris from Chris Goes Viral. Here we all are. But initially it was Rev Ciencio. So all those people I just mentioned, Garden Catering, Rev Ciencio, Stephanie Jarm, Chris from Chris Goes Viral, all people that you should follow, along with Jeremy. So Jeremy, why don't you first tell us a little bit about about Box 8 Creative?
Yeah, so Box 8 Creative, we're a hospitality focused brand studio. We kind of got our start through single restaurant spaces, privately owned one-off sort of places. Over that time, when I did one restaurant, then it turned into 3, turned into 10, turned into now over 100 brands. Since then, we've sort of expanded out a lot into, packaging and breweries, some actual retail packaging as well, some national stuff like that. So it's sort of all things food is sort of our focus for sure. We're super passionate about food and drink. We come in after the weekend, and my team, we'll go over like what we had, for lunch on Saturday or what we brought for lunch today and things like that, rather than like, who won a game or other things that you might talk about in an office.
Well, and Jeremy, I mean, I got to say, man, for someone who loves food, you look like you're in much better shape than me. All I know is I feel like I've put on the COVID-19. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, I think for me that, I have a rather large dog. So being stuck in my house, he got way more walks. I got way more walks. Kind of do it that way. I also have a 3-year-old that keeps me incredibly active. So.
Well, awesome. I don't have a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
I have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. So
yeah, that
maybe that's like a 3.
You have your hands full for
3
sure.
years,
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So Jeremy, let's dive in. What things are you saying? What creative things are you seeing right now that are, that restaurants are trying, that restaurants are doing right now as they're stepping into the new normal?
Yeah. So, I mean, everybody went through, you had sort of the panic stage, and you have that stage where everybody was trying to figure out, all right, so how do we do takeout properly? How do we show that kind of stuff? And now as, some states and the state that I'm in, Connecticut, is starting to open. We also work with some clients in Atlanta that have been open a little bit more over the last couple of weeks. You're trying to figure out like how to communicate to the public what you're doing, how you're doing it differently, how they can feel safe, that you're still offering takeout. And I think, a lot of the things that we have to do are like, the single use menus and, streaming down your menu itself so you have less waste and stuff like that. From an operations standpoint, a lot of people are trying to figure that out. Creatively, we're trying to be, sort of fun with the messaging, whether it's in person on some posters, sort of like, hey, we're all going to have our masks on, and we appreciate it if you keep yours on, and just trying to like be very transparent about it, but like kind of have fun and do it, associated with that particular brand. And sort of take advantage of, the eyes that you have right now, in particular on, mobile devices and even websites. So many more people are on their screens. So, staying true to your brand, staying true to yourself, and getting that messaging out there has really been our focus with all our restaurants we're continuing to work with.
And what are some things that, I mean, I love that idea of, obviously single use menu. We'll wear our masks. Can you please wear yours? What are some
Yeah.
other things that you're seeing that that are kind of resonating with you?
Well, I mentioned like being in Atlanta. So in Atlanta and some other, bigger cities, there's a lot of spaces right now and prior to COVID, that were that sort of like, they had a fully built out bar, but you still walked up to a counter. You said, I want a sandwich, and, fries. And then you go sit down at either a table, you take your number, and, or, go sit at the bar and get like a real cocktail made. But they had less sort of employee interactions. You'd have food runners and stuff like that. So we have a couple of brands that are sort of taking on that model where, first off, financially, to bring back all of their wait staff is tough because they don't know how many people are going to be coming. But to still give someone like that great bar experience and that great food experience, but in a little bit different ordering system. So that sort of take a number kind of thing. So that fast casual meets full sit down bar restaurant, sort of marrying that together. So a couple of our clients right now have opened that way. And I think honestly may stay in that direction for the long foreseeable future. I think we'll see a huge influx of concepts like that over the next, few months and even, first part of 2021.
Yeah. And as you're kind of going out there, you're working with a lot of these brands. Obviously, it's ideal for a restaurant to be, working with an agency like Box 8, right? I mean,
Sure.
but for, I putting you guys as like the Mercedes, say, give someone like a scooter budget, right? Like what could they be
Well,
doing by themselves if they can't afford a full agency
yeah.
like Box 8?
So social media, I mean, honestly, that's the key, right? So trying to create unique, interesting content, even without a budget, you can do it on your own. You got to try to find something that's unique to you. I think what people fail at from a social media standpoint, anyhow, is like, hey, it's Taco Tuesday. Well, everybody's doing Taco Tuesday. How are you doing it differently, right?
Mm,
It's Burger Wednesday. It's half price wine night. How are you doing it differently, and how are you doing it for your brand messaging? So kind of know who you are and kind of put that out there. Also with some paid ads right now, because you have so many more people looking at their phones and their devices, you're getting more money per click, right? You're paying less per click because if you're doing it for 30, like 30 hours, 24 hours, whatever, a week, and you're putting a limit on the amount of, dollars you're going to spend during that time. If you're getting more clicks during that time, your percentages of dollars spent or per click or cents spent per click are going down. So, just be focused, know who your target audience is, know who your brand is, and try to get your messaging out there in that way. You don't have to have a full-on creative agency helping you with that. You just have to do it, kind of properly. Like, know not to take, photographs in your fluorescent light in the back of the kitchen. Try to get out in front of the space,
yeah.
into the sunlight, take it out there. Do it with people in it. Like, if you have a server, try to like make it human and interact that way. Right now it's okay to see gloves and face masks on while you're taking pictures of your server carrying it out there, where in the past it would be like, all right, let's take the gloves off. Let's make it more human. Let's make it more
Yeah.
interaction. Now it's like, you want to see that. You want to know that like the place that you love, you can still go and trust and get takeout or even sit down with them right now. So,
And something that Bruce Irving of Smart Pizza Marketing, one of the things that he talks
yeah.
about is going live, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing Facebook Live, Instagram Live, these types of things just kind of humanize it a lot more.
No
and
question.
no one expects perfect content. That's the beautiful thing about
No,
it, right?
no.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that that's a great idea. But getting outside in the sunlight, getting those pictures, I think that's great. And then as far as pay per click, if a lot of people may be kind of scared about trying pay per click, what would you say to those people?
We've seen huge results on it. I think, it's such a small, you could put $30 in, right? You don't have to throw 100, 200, 500, $1,000 in. You could put, $30 and just test it out. But I would test it out on something that you can really look at the ROI on, right? So,
Mm.
for instance, we had a client that Steph works with called The Place to Be in Hartford. And we know that we were trying to push something for Mother's Day, right? So it was a budget set for the pay per click. There was a budget set for photography, a budget set for different things like that. But, during that day, on Mother's Day alone, she did over 500 Mother's Day brunch boxes. That's over $20,000 in sales for that single day. So you can see
Oh
your
my gosh.
ROI, right? You can gauge it. Other things like that aren't going on during this kind of time, but like, let's just say it's not COVID time. You have a wine dinner, or you have some special event going on. You do the paid advertising then, like the click per pay, and you can see like, all right, I sold 100 tickets this year as opposed to 10 last year or something like that. You can really see your investment kind of come back, and then that, all right, maybe it's worth $50 for the next thing I'm doing, or an everyday thing. You can test it out on small things like that. That's what I would definitely advise, is like test it on something you're trying to target, so you can see how many people are coming back.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we've heard from Joey Nagoy, who runs a brand agency down in LA, is he will do pay per click that will like give them a free coupon for like first time customers, right?
Sure.
And so that way it's like you're saying, very trackable and something
Yeah, the
that
give back stuff's great too. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah.
absolutely, yeah, totally. I think that's awesome. So what would be like one last piece of advice that you would give to restaurant owners, operators who are sitting here? We're approaching the new normal. We're kind of stepping into this like film, right? Like we don't know when it's
Yeah.
going to break or how long it's going to be or how it's going to change or what, but we know that it's different now than it was 4 months ago, right? A lot of
Yeah,
uncertainty, but what would you say?
dive right into it. Like, you just be super open about it, transparent with everybody, talk about it. Don't try to hide from it. Don't, what you did prior to this is probably not going to work in the same way now. You have to like adjust to it, accept it. And, we've used this word a million times, is pivot, evolve over the last couple of weeks, and I'm almost sick of the word, but you have to listen to the environment right now, and you have to make those changes, and go forward with them.
Dude, I love that, Jeremy. So here are my takeaways. One, be transparent and fun. I
Yes.
like that. Makes a lot of sense. Two, create interesting content. Go
Hmm.
outside, go in the lighting, have humans in it, show the mask, show the gloves. Three, try PPC, even just a little bit, right? A little
Yes.
bit,
Yeah.
and just test it out. It's not a real scary thing. Four, dive right into it. I mean,
Yep.
I love that because it could be very easy for us to try to hide away from it, right? It could be very
Hmm.
easy just to like go back to how things are normal, but people don't want to see things as normal. They want to see things different.
Yes.
Um, they want to have, more visibility into this. And
Yes.
yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of our clients now, because they have limited seating outdoors and stuff, they're saying, hey, like, we're so excited to be back open and have you come sit with us. It's a 90-minute window. Like, you have your table for 90 minutes so we can give it to our next guest. And like, if you know that up front going in, you're cool. You're fine with that. If they just come over to you at, minute 87 and say, you have 3 minutes left, you have to leave, that's the problem. You have to be very upfront with people about it, and they're going to, accept it and thank you for it, and be willing to cooperate, for sure.
I mean, we talk all the time at Ovation about loyalty, right?
Yeah.
And how true loyalty, it's not about some type of program, right? It's not about a digital punch card or even like a punch card or even like checking in or anything like that. Loyalty is about the brand promise you make
Mm-hmm.
and the trust that a customer has that that brand promise will be kept on a consistent basis. That is what creates loyalty. And,
Yes.
setting that expectation of, whatever you're working on now and however that evolves is critical to establishing that trust. Because like you said, if you come and you just say, hey, like, you got to leave because you're not wearing a mask, and on the
Right.
front of your location, it doesn't say that.
Doesn't say that. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
creates a lot of issues, right?
It does. Yeah. Yeah. The more communication you have, the more upfront you are with people, the more willing they are to work with you and, again, keep that trust with you. Right.
Yep, absolutely. And as that's the whole reason that we're here at Ovation, right? Is to help, we help brands to measure, build, and maintain that trust and that customer communication.
Yeah.
But working with people like you, it makes it a lot easier because Jeremy, love what you're doing at Box 8 Creative. Love what you're
Thanks.
doing with helping out these hospitality companies and establishing what is the new normal. And how do people find you, follow you?
Yeah. So you can follow us on Instagram at Box 8 Creative. Same with Facebook at Box 8 Creative. And then we're on box8creative.com. You can check out our site and contact us directly through that. We'd love to, talk to you. We're here for any type of advice or anything like that during this time as well. Always, actually, we love sharing ideas. For the right fit for you, awesome. If not, we'll happily, point you in the right direction.
Awesome. Well, Jeremy, today's ovation goes to you for
Thanks.
getting out some great creative. Check out their Instagram because it does have some awesome creative on there. Love checking that out. So thanks for hopping on, Jeremy. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Thanks, Zach. Take care, man.
Glad you were with us today, and thank you. Thank you to the risk takers, the troublemakers, the crazies who are keeping this world clothed and fed. You're the ones who deserve an ovation. Again, this podcast was sponsored by Ovation. To see how we can help you grow your business, go to ovationup.com. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, remember to give someone in your life an ovation today.